Hi, good morning. It's time to talk about Halloweentown High, which might be the funniest of the three movies so far. The movie picks up after Halloweentown 2, Calabar's Son's Revenge. Marnie has received a summons from the Halloweentown Council. They are not happy with her for having opened the portal in the last movie, and they don't really approve of her student exchange plan to bring kids from Halloweentown to attend school with her in the mortal world. She gets pulled through the portal to her meeting with the council, and right away, evil guy. Listen to him speak for 1 second.
Of course, you saved Halloweentown. I think it's the least we can do.
He's obviously the villain, right? He acknowledges that she saved Halloweentown and supports her proposal to bring Halloweentown students to the human world, but other council members disagree.
I really must put several of my feet down.
The opposing members are concerned for the safety of the Halloweentown students because the Knights of the Iron Dagger have made it their mission in life to destroy all things magical in the mortal world. The worlds have been divided for 1,000 years with the portal policy in place because of the threat of the Knights. Marnie acknowledges their concern and offhandedly says, "I bet all the Cromwell magic that humans have changed," and the council members pounce.
She said it. Yeah. You all heard it. She said it.
Evil Guy Dalloway says that they accept her proposal and she has until midnight on Halloween. Marnie is expressly confused, not sure what she just agreed to as she's pulled back through the portal. They quickly figure it out back at the house, and Aggie and Gwen start fighting over whose fault this is. Marnie suggests canceling the program, but Aggie says it's too important. Gwen brushes off the Knights as just a story that parents in Halloweentown tell their kids to scare them, kind of like the boogeyman. And Aggie mentions that the boogeyman is back in town and he's been asking about Gwen.
So there really is a boogeyman?
And apparently he has a thing for Mom.
One day.
Very funny, but that means that he's real. So you're saying the Knights aren't real, they're just a story, like the boogeyman who's just a story, except you know he's real because you dated him. Sophie asks Marnie if she's sure that there are no Knights, and Marnie says,
Yes, we're absolutely sure there aren't any Knights.
Girl, how could you know that? You didn't know anything about the Knights 5 minutes ago, and now you're absolutely sure they don't exist? I love Marnie, but that's crazy, especially since a Knight shows up in their backyard. The next morning, Gwen stocks the cabinet with grasshopper flakes, and I can't make out what this says, but I want to believe it's something blood sauce. In the kitchen, Marnie tries to expand the house but accidentally shrinks it instead. Mom, can't pick and choose Gwen, comes in and does a construction spell to create a hallway of bedrooms off the kitchen for the Halloweentown students. Grandma's running late and calls on the witch's class saying that she'll just meet them at school with the kids. They watch the skies for Aggie showing up in a big flying school bus, but she just shows up in a little car. The family says that they didn't know she could drive, and she's like, "Oh, I can't. I just asked 2 leprechauns I know to work the pedals." This movie is so silly, but you just know she was such a menace on the road on her drive over here. The Halloweentown kids unload from the car, and Aggie introduces Marnie to them as their student advisor. She reminds them that their cover is being from Canada and leads the kids to school handing out schedules. Aggie's bag grows feet and follows her to meet with the principal. He says that he was shocked when she wanted to enroll her group of exchange students, but here they are.
It's like magic.
Interesting choice of words, sir. She tells him how excited the students are to take part in the school's customs, and the principal is like, "You're all from Canada, right?" And Aggie is like, checks notes. "Yep, Canada." Her bag eats the principal's bird like the little troublemaker that it is. Walking the halls, Dylan and Natalie realize they're in the same AP classes, including AP Art, so they head off together. Marnie continues leading the group, seeing one student lagging behind. She tells him to hide his tail and grabs it, but it's not a tail. And even if it was, why would you grab it and pull it? It's also not a Halloweentown student, it's just this guy who I swear I saw a couple years ago looking exactly the same. Like, this movie is 20 years old and he still looks like that, I think. He introduces himself as Cody and asks to join her tour group, but she says that it's her senior project to guide the exchange students, and I don't know why that means he can't join, but okay. He says that he'll see her around, and Marnie is like, "Oh my god, a cute boy," and like, okay, fair. And if I remember right, this one actually isn't evil, but Marnie, have you learned nothing? Just be a little discerning, okay? Grandma Aggie is magically the science teacher. Some kids, and I use the word kids loosely because this guy is literally 25, act up in class, so she makes a crazy face to scare them into getting on task. Marnie shows up late, and lucky for her, there's a spot open next to Cody. Ooh! Grandma demonstrates an experiment and creates a bird because she just wants to get caught, I guess. Inconspicuous? What does that mean? Aggie doesn't know. She does promise to be more careful with her magic and then passes Marnie a note with a locker number and combination. Cody sneaks a peek at the note and then somebody follows Marnie after class as she finds the locker, but they hide as Aggie pulls Marnie through to the student clubhouse that she created. I do think it's a little crazy to not tell her to make sure she's not seen, but whatever, let's never communicate. The exchange students take off their human suits, revealing their true appearances. They hear banging on the locker door and a night-suited hand starts trying to unlock it. I think if I didn't know that Cody wasn't the bad guy, I might think he was because it was the boy last time. And then after he sees the note, there's a knight knocking at the locker. Aggie says that the sound is just the pipes, and I don't know why we're denying the possibility of a problem. Marnie listens to the students chatting in the lounge, and every line is a gem.
These two cheerleaders walked past me and said, "What are you looking at? Freak?" Isn't that sweet? I mean, they actually thought I was a freak.
Oh, and when they pass out mice in biology, you're apparently not supposed to eat them. But I had 3.
Everyone keeps saying, "Hey, what's up?" What's up where?
That night at home, Marnie is so happy with how the first day went, but says someday she hopes she won't feel like she's 2 different people, and Dylan says,
Both of them equally annoying.
They always have something to say to each other. Like when Marnie tells her mom she met a new boy at school, Dylan says,
Smart. Snag him before he has the chance to meet anyone else.
And Marnie floats him to the ceiling and leaves him there all night. He ends up sleeping up there. Aggie gets a call on her witch's glass from Dalloway, and Marnie gives him a positive update of their first day, saying that the kids are settling in well, including his son Ethan. He says he's worried about them and asks if they've seen any signs of danger, and they say no way. A few of the students overhear the call, and Ethan asks how they know the knights are really gone. Marnie says,
Well, it's been over 1,000 years. I mean, we're pretty sure they don't exist.
and Natalie rightfully questions,
You mean like we don't exist?
Yeah, that's what I said about the boogeyman thing. At school, as Marnie leads the group, Cassie tells her that she doesn't need to show them where their classes are, and Marnie says that she wants to make sure absolutely nothing goes wrong, and right then, Cody walks up. If I didn't know better, that would be suspicious. She sends the kids off, saying they don't need her to show them where their classes are, and Cody tells her that he waited for her after school yesterday, but she kind of just disappeared. Aggie waves and gestures for Marnie from a window as Cody tries to ask her out, and she just walks away from him. This poor guy.
So, I was wondering if you'd like to go out with me sometime. Yeah, that was worth 3 hours in front of the bathroom mirror.
In the science room, Aggie shows Marnie the iron dagger on the sidewalk, explaining that they must know the group is here, and also seemingly confirming the knights are real. And I just realized the guy who painted the dagger is the one who reassigned her to the science room. He knew what classroom she would have, so he knew where to paint it. I just realized that. Aggie wonders why the warning. The knights aren't really known for playing fair, and Marnie says that it could just be someone from Halloweentown trying to scare them because they want the portal closed. Maybe both? Aggie asks Marnie what she knows about that new boy, and Marnie says,
Oh, no, there's no way he has anything to do with this. I can't believe you'd even say that.
she's not wrong, Marnie. Yeah, I've seen the movie, and I know he's not involved, but she's not wrong for questioning if you should suspect him. Speaking of people we should suspect, the principal walks in, soaking wet from the sun and rain that Aggie conjured to wash away the dagger marking, which she turns right back off. Marnie struggles with Aggie's misbehaving bag as the principal reassigns Aggie again to teaching history. After she leaves, he looks out the window seeing the marking is gone and smirks in a totally unsuspicious way. Marnie heads to history, taught by Aggie, and of course Cody is in the same class. He shoots her a note asking her out for Saturday, and she accepts. He catches her again in the cafeteria where she's looking for her kids. He says that he never really sees them around, but they spot Cassie observing jocks stuffing their faces at lunch. Marnie finds everyone else in the clubhouse and tells them that they should be participating more, joining teams and clubs. Ethan says that he's always wanted to join a play, and this came out in 2004, before High School Musical, so that's kind of funny. Marnie reminds them that they're here to make connections, so everybody agrees to sign up for something. They also decide to do a booth for the Halloween festival, and Aggie suggests that it could be a haunted house. She tells Marnie,
I pity the knight that has to tussle with you.
and taps a night suit that somebody's listening from, and they just don't notice. Why do you even have that? You think there could be knights. Why do you have this suit of armor on display? The kids start to integrate into different groups at school, and then on Saturday, Cody shows up to the house as the group is leaving for the mall. As the kids load into the car, Marnie is like, so did you want something? And Cody is like, yeah, a date. And Marnie thought that he meant to ask her out for Saturday night, so she leaves him on his porch saying that she'll see him tonight. Some guys, man, they will have so much patience for a pretty girl and her weird shit. Marnie leads the kids through the mall and quickly realizes that teenagers are teenagers in every dimension as they all split up and go their different ways. Natalie beats Dylan's score on a game at the arcade and he is so into it that his glasses keep fogging up. I don't even know how that happens. Marnie confesses to her grandma that maybe she should just tell Cody to forget it because she's always making lame excuses and running off, and you know what? At least she's self-aware that she's ditching him. But he would be so disappointed because look who just happens to be at the same mall. Marnie says that she can't leave her grandma to go hang out with him, but Aggie heads off with the principal, who she is very familiar with. The group comes back together, walking past a Halloween store, very upset by how scary they're depicted. The troublemaker from science class says that Halloween is a freak show, and Ethan speaks up.
You probably think that all vampires want to do is just suck people's blood. Like they don't have jobs and families.
And he's making a good point, like, they're just living their lives. Maybe it doesn't matter where they come from. Maybe it doesn't matter if they look a little different. They're just living their lives and trying to feed their families and work their jobs. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. The kids are urging him to stop, but Ethan continues.
If Halloween is just about scaring people, then why don't they make a mask out of your face?
Great burn, Ethan. I love it. Chester stops the troublemaker from beating up Ethan. Marnie hears screaming and leaves Cody in the food court to find a haze of purple smoke, which Aggie dispels, and it reveals all of the kids without their human suits. Dylan is surprised to see that Natalie is a big pink hairy troll, and she's really upset by his reaction, so she walks off. Marnie checks on Ethan, who is staring right at a dagger sticking out of a pumpkin. Ooh, so scary. Aggie tells the students to find Natalie and get back to the car. A sinister laugh comes out of the werewolf costume, which sounds exactly like the evil guy. Everyone gets home where the Halloweentown Council is waiting for Marnie in her room. The members question why Marnie didn't contact them after the first threat and offer to cancel the program and close the portal but let the family keep their powers. Marnie wants to keep trying, and after this guy yells at her and calls her a halfling, I don't even know if you can say that, she declares that she is going to continue and ends the meeting on her own, sending the council out of her room. Marnie sits with her mom having hot chocolate with marshmallow spiders. I don't like that. It comes to life just to die in your hot chocolate. Marnie sits with her mom having hot chocolate with marshmallow spiders, and Gwen finally realizes that she actually likes using magic. Aggie is not happy with Marnie for passing up the chance to call off the deal, and the kids reassure Marnie that there weren't any knights at the mall, but Ethan grabs the dagger and says,
This wasn't my fault.
But I think it was. I think he put it into the pumpkin. At school, Aggie says that everybody suddenly looks so suspicious to her, except, not everybody, because here comes the principal. Isn't it funny that Aggie questioned Cody, but not her own man? He reassigns her again to PE, and her bag bites his pants, and I'm just now realizing that the bag might sense he's a bad guy. Dylan keeps apologizing to Natalie, saying that she looks cute in her human suit, but Natalie hates how she looks in her human suit. And she tells him that all that mattered was that he was sweet and nice to her.
One of the ugliest creatures I've ever laid my eyes on.
Wait, you think I'm funny looking?
Ooh, talk about being the last to know.
Cassie finds Marnie to show her that somebody tried to break into the locker to the clubhouse. They don't see anybody inside, so Marnie goes to find Aggie, and Cassie stays behind where she'll be safe. But there's somebody hiding in the night suit, so maybe not. Personally, I don't approve of human-shaped objects like mannequins or decorative suits of armor. Marnie blames Aggie's constant use of magic for them being found, but Aggie accuses Marnie of letting their secret slip to Cody. And guess what? Marnie is just like her mother as she gets into the same argument with Aggie again. But when she finds out that Cody does know about the locker, she thinks maybe her grandma is right and she tells him to knock it off. He says he was just trying to get to know her because he likes her, but why? Why do you like her? Your interactions have not been good, and like you said, you don't know her. It's fine, they're gonna end up together, but give me one reason why you like her. Cassie hears the night suit creak and opens the mask, and Marnie hears her scream and gets back to the clubhouse to find the suit of armor in pieces on the ground. At the house, Marnie starts to tell the kids that they're going back home, but Aggie remembers that she casts a spell to prevent humans from entering the clubhouse, so it must have been someone from Halloweentown. Dylan suggests that it could just be one of them, which nobody takes seriously. They realize the only thing strong enough to hold Cassie would be a witch's glass, so they send Ethan to go get his. With the eyes in the back of her head, Aggie sees somebody moving around outside, and when Gwen goes to check it out, she magically incapacitates the obvious high school boy. Maybe she should go back to not using magic. Ethan grabs his witch's glass, surprised to see Cassie inside. He mutes it when Aggie comes in, and she just tells him goodnight as if they didn't specifically send him to get something. She watches out the window as he runs off outside. Marnie takes Cody home on her broom, so when he wakes up, they are flying through the sky. She tells him that she's a witch, and he doesn't believe her until he realizes where they are. Ethan heads to the school after hours to meet with the principal, who has a Knights of the Iron Dagger ring. Dalloway shows up, and Ethan asks his dad why Cassie is trapped in his witch's glass. Dalloway calls it unfortunate, but necessary, and doesn't elaborate. The principal explains that for centuries, his family has remained vigilant to ensure that the mortal world remains pure from magic, and he is the last descendant of the noble order. And Dalloway's like, you didn't know anything about the Knights of the Iron Dagger until I found you and told you about it. And the principal is like, but I'm still a knight, right? Dude, how boring is your life? Like, this guy shows up, he tells you he's a warlock, he tells you magic is real, he tells you there's another world where magical creatures live, and you are a knight. You are the last descendant of knights who segregated his kind from your world. And he wants to team up with you to keep the two worlds separate. And you're just like, oh yeah, sure, whatever you say, as long as I get to play a knight.
Yes, of course. All hail.
Dalloway confirms that Ethan caused the scene at the mall and stabbed the dagger into the pumpkin, just like I said. He explains to his son that the people of Halloweentown will see that humans haven't changed and that the portal needs to be closed for good. Cassie says the Cromwells will stop them, but Dalloway is confident that they'll fail and forfeit their magic to him specifically. Marnie, Aggie, and Gwen sit at the dining table. I don't know where Sophie is. Maybe she was too tall for the shot. And Gwen heads into the witch's glass to search for Cassie. At school the next day, the principal is clearly unhappy to hear that the haunted house is still happening, and Marnie finally starts to suspect him. Aggie pushes back at first, but leaves her bag to go attack the principal and steal his iron dagger ring that he has been obsessed with. The night of the Halloween carnival, students walk out of the haunted house saying it was the worst they've ever been through. The haunted house features a werewolf tea party and ogres picnicking, not really the scare the kids were looking for. Dalloway opens the portal and enters the haunted house, turning all of the wax figures into real monsters that start to chase the students. Aggie disappears a few of the monsters, but when Marnie tries, she just supersizes a skeleton. They spot Dalloway shooting off his magic, and Aggie traps him in the haunted house. The principal quickly blames Marnie and Aggie, calling them witches and monsters and freaks.
They are witches and monsters and freaks.
No, we're your friends.
If we don't drive them back to where they came from, they will destroy us.
Bro, how is this from 20 years ago? And we still have to hear this stuff in 2024? This movie is from 20 years ago. They solved it 20 years ago in a DCOM. Is that the problem with boomers? Did the boomers not get to watch these DCOMs that solve racism? Someone get the boomers some DCOMs. The principal says,
"It's us or them."
And leads the mob to force the group into the haunted house where Dalloway is waiting to take their powers. Marnie rightly points out that nobody was threatening them until he showed up and started antagonizing things, but it's too late and Dalloway takes their magic. The mob breaks in and Cody rushes to Marnie's side. The principal suddenly cares about Aggie again, asking is she hurt? And Dalloway says, what do you care? You're the one who offered her up to an angry mob. And he's not wrong, dude. Like, you're actively fighting to deport your girlfriend. What are you talking about? Ethan stands up to his dad, refusing to return to Halloweentown with him, and Dalloway leaves, sealing the portal behind him. The mob of students cheer, and Cody calls them out for turning on Marnie, who has been their friend all these years. The Halloweentown kids reveal their true selves, and the rest of the students realize that they're still the same people they've become friends with, even if they look different. Aggie pulls out her witch's glass, asking if they've seen enough, and the portal breaks open, shooting Dalloway back out onto the floor. Gwen and Cassie return, explaining that all of Halloweentown just saw that people have changed, so the Cromwell women take their powers back. The council appears and considers Dalloway resigned, trapping him in Aggie's witch's glass. Well, hold on, where is Calabar? He was in Merlin's talisman. Where's Merlin's talisman? Is Aggie just like collecting dudes trapped in objects? The students return to the carnival, and Dylan and Natalie decide to just be friends. The principal tries to convince Aggie to keep working at the school, but she's not really qualified. Don't let her be a teacher. Marnie takes Cody for another flight on her broom, and it's so cute and romantic, and they live happily ever after because there is no fourth movie. There is no fourth movie, right? I don't know where Sophie was or why they didn't go to Halloweentown at all, but I did find this YouTube video that says the reason Sophie was written out was because the actress got too tall. I don't know if that's true, but it's funny and I'm gonna believe it because I did notice that she was like slouching and sitting, and I was wondering, why is she couch potatoing? Oh, I guess she put some roots down in the carpet.